More controversy regarding the phone call made to the president of the Ukraine. A new star may be discovered as local singers take the stage at the Kern County Fair. And vacation frustration as customers discover their travel agency has gone out of business. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. A brother and sister are dead and a man's in custody after an early morning shooting and police chase in Central Bakersfield. It all started just before 1 o'clock at the Santa Fe apartment complex on Union Avenue. Police say a man and woman who were siblings were killed in the shooting. The person they believe is responsible is the father of the woman's children. Police also say the children were home at the time of the shooting and may have witnessed or heard the shooting, but were not hurt. After the shooting, police say the gunman then fled the scene and led police on a chase that ended in a crash on eastbound 178 near Oswell Street. Officers took that man into custody. According to our KGET homicide tracker, this shooting brings the 2019 homicide count to 72. An Amber Alert for a missing toddler has been deactivated. Sheriff's deputies say the boy was abducted by his armed father 3 days ago. So far, we've not been able to reach the Merced County Sheriff's Department to determine if the boy has been found. The toddler's mother believes Stephen Weir, the father, was armed and dangerous and was worried about her son's health because he has a muscular neurodegenerative disorder that requires regular blood transfusions and medication. Again, the Amber Alert has been deactivated. We'll continue tracking the story and bring you the latest as soon as we learn more. Making news around the nation now to the growing controversy swirling around a conversation President Trump had with the president of Ukraine. It's at the root of a whistleblower complaint against the president. And the question Democrats are now asking, did the president ask a foreign leader to target one of his political rivals? It's the dramatic backdrop as President Trump begins a week in New York for the UN General Assembly. NBC's Kristen Walker reports.
Overnight, President Trump touching down in New York for the UN General Assembly after acknowledging this weekend he did mention former Vice President Joe Biden and his son during a phone call with the president of Ukraine.
It was largely the fact that we don't want our people, like Vice President Biden and his son, creating to the corruption already in the Ukraine.
According to the Washington Post, during the call on July 25th, the president pressured the Ukrainian president to investigate a company with ties to Joe Biden's son Hunter. That call is at the root of a whistleblower complaint by an intelligence official. Among the key questions, did the president cross a line by asking a foreign leader's help to investigate a political rival? And did he threaten to withhold U.S. military aid to Ukraine?
That was not pressure. I know when I give pressure, and that was not pressure.
In this tense exchange on Saturday, former Vice President Joe Biden pointed to the fact that there's never been any evidence of wrongdoing tied to his son's business, telling a reporter to focus on the president.
Why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader? If that's what happened, that appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has resisted Democrats' calls for impeachment, toughened her tone Sunday. Pelosi calling the allegations a serious possible breach of constitutional duties by the president, warning if the complaint isn't turned over to Congress, the administration will be entering a grave new chapter of lawlessness, which will take us into a whole new stage of investigation. Utah Senator Mitt Romney, the sole Republican to speak out, also demanded answers, adding if the president did pressure the president of Ukraine, it would be troubling in the extreme.
Kristen Walker reporting the controversy swirling around the Ukraine call will loom large during the president's stay in New York, especially since Mr. Trump will meet with the president of Ukraine Wednesday. But perhaps the largest issue is Iran. The U.S. has blamed Iran for attacking oil fields in Saudi Arabia and recently imposed tough new sanctions against the country. This week, President Trump will aim to build support for a broader international response. The president of Iran will be at the UN, but there are no plans for the two leaders to meet. Today, the president chairs a meeting on religious freedoms. Back here at home, more fair fun. More than 24 local singers will belt it out at the Kern County Fair tonight. The Road to the Fair karaoke finals are happening at the new Frontier stage. These artists competed in competitions at local bars and restaurants during the summer, and they'll have a chance to win it all at the fair. There are 2 titles to win, Male and Female Vocalist of the Year. You can catch the contest at 7 o'clock tonight. The Frontier stage is just off Main Street as you head toward the rides. Today is Marvelous Monday. If you've been itching to get to the fair, you can buy a pass for just $5. Kids younger than 5 get in for free. The deal is happening from 3 to 9 today. You can also get in for free tomorrow and do a good deed while you're at it. It's the annual Feed the Need canned food drive. Donate at least 4 cans of food and admission's free. This is all part of the fair's partnership with Community Action Partnership of Kern, also known as CAPK. CAPK runs a food bank and organizes giveaways to distribute food to Kern County's less fortunate families. CAPK says this food drive has helped them give away more than 650,000 pounds of food since 2012. If you don't make it out for either of those deals, regular admission costs $12 for adults, $9 for seniors 62 and over, and $5 for kids ages 6 to 12. Kids ages 5 and under are free, so are active and retired military members with a valid military ID, and parking is $10. By the way, though, if you buy online, you'll get a slight discount. An adult pass there is just $10 and kids is $4. The gates open at 3 this afternoon and close at 10 p.m. Well, Kevin's on one last tank of gas getaway. He'll take us on board the Queen Mary and have our first day of fall forecast. Plus, we delve into the correlation between social media use and depression in young people. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. Back on your 17 Health Watch, the American Academy of Pediatrics is outlining how doctors can help patients who struggle in school. The group says conditions like ADHD, anxiety, and cognitive delays can impact children's ability to learn. Pediatricians can help create an action plan to manage children's symptoms to help them function better in the classroom. They can also provide referrals to specialists and help parents advocate for their kids. We live in a fast-paced digital age, and it's becoming more and more difficult to avoid. Research shows a correlation between depression and heavy social media use. As Chelsea Sellers reports, the most vulnerable are teenagers.
In a digitally growing world, it can be hard to avoid social media and bright screens, but you might have to.
If someone's on their phone, they're not getting the physical activity that they would normally get. If they're worried about waiting on a text message or a phone call, then they're not going to sleep as well.
Clinical social worker Melissa Wilkes-Donahue says research shows a correlation with social media use and depression among young people.
I think it's something that does affect everyone. Teenagers, they get it from both angles because they're seeing it, they're using it themselves, but then, somebody may be telling them, okay, you need to moderate your social media usage, but then they're coming home and their parents are also doing the same thing.
A 2017 study from the Association of Psychological Science shows that depressive symptoms in 8th to 12th graders increased by 33% between 2010 and 2015. Suicide rates also went up for girls by 65%, right around the time smartphones were introduced. And watching the numbers may be contributing to the problem.
When kids are feeling like they're being compared to, you have 100 followers, but I only have 20. Then that is giving a metrics that they're feeling like they're being graded by.
But the best and easiest solution, cut it down.
We use technology to our advantage, but everything within moderation. And so just making sure that, technology isn't a bad thing, but are we using it for the right ways, or are we letting it kind of take over our lives?
Experts urge parents to monitor their children's offline behavior in addition to their online activity for any signs they've experienced something negative on social media. A local Catholic church plans to build a shrine to honor unborn babies. The Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe is set to break ground next week on Brundage Lane. The planned memorial will be a bronze statue of Mary and Joseph cradling a baby. Organizer Virginia Santos says the memorial will serve hundreds of families that have kept the remains of their unborn babies. Families will also have the option to have the remains buried at the memorial and have a plaque with the child's name. The church has not said how much that would cost, but donors can offer to fund plaques for families who cannot afford them. While it's a Catholic church, the memorial will be non-denominational and open to anyone. All right, it is time for the final tank of gas getaway as we wrap up summer and head into fall. Let's check out where Kevin is taking us.
Maddie, I arrived yesterday here to Long Beach to the Queen Mary. It's my first time ever visiting this massive ship, and I'll tell you, it has a lot of history, and I want to share it with you. We are packed up, fueled up, and ready to hit the road for our final tank of gas getaway this summer season. This time, we're headed south to Long Beach to board the Queen Mary. This ship is a massive hunk of steel and was launched September 26, 1934. At just over 1,000 feet long and more than 81,000 tons, the Queen Mary was one of the largest ships ever built in its time. The Titanic, by comparison, was only 883 feet long and about 46,000 tons. Queen Mary's rudder at 150 tons was then the largest ever built. Its midship dining room, located between two of the ship's three stacks, was the largest room ever constructed inside a ship at the time. At 143 feet long and spanning the vessel's entire width, it could seat 800 first-class passengers at once. The ship was powered by 24 boilers and 4 sets of turbines, generating 160,000 horsepower that fueled 4 propellers, which turned at a rate of 200 revolutions per minute. Royalty, Hollywood stars, notable business magnates, and well-known politicians all traveled on the Queen Mary, including the like of Clark Gable, Bob Hope, Queen Elizabeth II, Winston Churchill, and even comedy duo Laurel and Hardy. And don't forget Desi Arnaz of I Love Lucy. Along with its power, the Queen Mary offered pure luxury. Inside the ship boasted 5 dining areas, 2 swimming pools, beauty salons, and a grand ballroom, which attracted wealthy passengers and celebrities to the ship's first-class accommodations. After navigating nearly 3.8 million nautical miles, the Queen Mary departing on its final cruise October 31st, 1967. The ship docked in Long Beach, California on December 9th of that year, where it has been ever since. And again, this is just a beautiful ship. My stateroom, M115, actually had Winston Churchill in it back in the day. So to be nerdy, I know last night as I was walking around and even took a shower in my stateroom thinking, wow, who has stayed or even stood in this tub? So if you're looking for a little bit of history and a beautiful ship, you've got to come down to Long Beach and visit the Queen Mary. I want to talk about the weather forecast as well on this Monday. It is the first day of fall as well. And we are looking at some fall-like temperatures. We've got a little bit of cloud cover to the north. This system that's bringing us cooler weather will head east tomorrow. It will be replaced by a ridge of high pressure around the area from the west. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I do expect temperatures to warm. We may, by the end of the week, grab a little bit of that moisture you see to the south into L.A. and San Diego. I don't think it'll make its way north enough for Kern County. 90 in Sacramento, Fresno at 90 today, 84 in Los Angeles, 76 in San Diego. And then here's a look at our overall numbers for today. Sunny and 89 in Buttonwillow, 88 in Bakersfield, Maricopa at 87. Take a look at the mountain forecast, and today we'll be looking at a west wind 5 to 10, 72 in Fraser Park, Tehachapi at 74, 80 Lake Isabella, Kernville 82, and then for the desert, today sunny skies and 84 in Mojave. Your extended forecast tomorrow, I talked about the warm-up, 93, 99 on Wednesday, but a big drop back into the lower 70s by Saturday to 71, and then for the mountains, we're looking at mid-80s on Wednesday, and then 50s and 60s as we approach the weekend. And then for the Kern River Valley, 96 on Wednesday, back into the 80s Thursday, 60s return by Saturday, along with the breeze. So back out here live at the Queen Mary. Again, if you're looking for something fun for the entire family, then you have to come down to Long Beach and visit this beautiful ship. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow morning. We'll send it back to you for now.
It's 12:15 now. Thousands of travelers are stranded after the world's oldest travel firm goes out of business. How they're working to bring people home, coming up next.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Back now on your 17 Business Watch. Starting off the work week, the Dow is up 68 points so far in trading. The NASDAQ up 16. The S&P 500 up 6. Taking a look at oil prices while we're at it. Also climbing today, West Texas Intermediate at $58.53 a barrel, and Midway Sunset started the day at $61.33 a barrel. Thousands of travelers are stranded. That's because Thomas Cook, the world's oldest travel firm, is out of business. The company collapsed after failing to secure a rescue package from its lenders. The UK's Civil Aviation Authority says Thomas Cook has ceased trading, and the regulator and government will work together to bring more than 150,000 British customers home over the next 2 weeks. The CAA says since Thomas Cook has ceased trading, all of its flights are canceled, but more than 600,000 people are traveling abroad with the company. AAA and other travel experts say this is the week you should be locking down your travel plans for the holidays. NBC's Chris Clackham has more.
Still over 2 months away, but it's definitely not too early to book travel for Thanksgiving. In fact, historic data shows that nearly a quarter of travelers will have booked their Thanksgiving airfare by the end of September.
Travel expert Janine Tornatore says advantages to booking this early include a better chance at getting the hotel or flight you want at a better price.
It's a matter of supply and demand. The closer we get to the holidays, we always see airfare continue to increase in price.
If flying into one of the bigger cities, consider an alternative airport.
A lot of times these smaller regional airports have better flight times, less delays, and easier access to traffic to and from the airport.
She says traveling a few days before and after the actual holiday can be an economical way to go. And if you're planning to use reward points for, say, a hotel stay, you definitely need to get that booked now. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
AAA suggests you start researching holiday travel options now and book your flights by October 27th. Well, parents are already gearing up to find those must-have holiday toys without Toys R Us. According to Retail Me Not, shoppers are looking to Amazon, Target, and Walmart to fill that void. In a recent survey, 26% of shoppers plan to shop at all three locations. They say the key to finding this year's hot toys are pretty simple. Shop early, use online product trackers, and monitor retailers' social media accounts to keep tabs on Black Friday and pre-Black Friday deals and promotions. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex make their official first family trip abroad with their son. How it's bringing up memories of Princess Diana, coming up after the break. Welcome back. Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan began their first official tour as a family with their infant son Archie in South Africa today. NBC's Keir Simmons reports from Cape Town.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, with their baby boy Archie, are in South Africa this morning. A continent beloved by the royal couple, and a trip made all the more poignant by memories of Harry's mom, Diana. This is where the couple fell in love, on a romantic safari in Botswana, as Harry described in an interview just before their wedding.
I think about 3, maybe 4 weeks later, that I managed to persuade her to come and join me in Botswana, and we camped out with each other under the stars.
Harry will also travel to Angola, where his mother, Princess Diana, was famously pictured by a minefield. Her 1997 trip raising worldwide awareness of the damage landmines do.
I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world.
Harry, quite literally, following in her footsteps.
Minefields can be cleared, land can be protected, wildlife can be free to return to where they once roamed.
There is some anxiety ahead of this trip. Prince Harry and Meghan have had difficult relations with the British press. Friends say the criticism has been unfair.
It's unjust, and I think that, people should really focus on the good work that they do.
They hope that on this trip they can put those troubles behind them as they introduce Archie to Africa.
And there is a mass of media here. A colleague of mine who has covered these events since the days of Princess Diana says that he hasn't seen this kind of a media pack since her days. Quite a statement. And Harry and Meghan are determinedly using it to focus on the things they really care about women's empowerment, about lifting people out of poverty. And yet there's also so much celebration already. I talked about the dancing. We've seen the royal couple give a little jig at times as people try and get them to dance. So Harry and Meghan, if you are watching this back, give us a dance. Back to you.
Election Day 2020 is still 407 days away, but today's National Voter Registration Day, and a social media company is working to get people signed up to head to the ballot boxes. If you log on to Facebook today, you may notice a message like this at the top of your news feed. It asks if you're registered to vote. If you are, you click yes and then share to encourage your Facebook friends to also register. You can register to vote online or by getting a voter registration form at most county buildings. It wasn't a bomb or a bullet, but a can of dry shampoo apparently turned into a projectile and burst through the sunroof of a car. It happened to a Missouri woman whose mother says the damage at first led them to think that something more dramatic and scary had happened. The intense heat, though, inside the car caused the can to explode, turning it into a projectile. No one was in the car at the time. The owner of the body shop where the car is being repaired said in all the years he's been repairing cars, he's never seen anything like this. An update now on some breaking news on that Amber Alert we told you about at the top of this newscast. The Tuolumne County Sheriff's Office just reporting in the last 10 minutes that 2 bodies were found near a car linked to that alert issued over the weekend. The red 2005 Hyundai Elantra was found Sunday in a remote area on Clark Fork Road near Sand Flat Campground. Still, the office also reports that the identification of the people found is not known at this time. The Amber Alert was issued Saturday morning by the California Highway Patrol on behalf of the Merced County Sheriff's Department. Authorities were searching for Stephen Weir, who's 32 years old, and his 2-year-old son, John Weir. Authorities had said Stephen Weir was considered armed and dangerous. When we come back here on 17 News at Noon, medical students get a hands-on lesson in caring for children with some unique patients. We'll explain. Welcome back. Finally here at noon in Iceland, broken dolls and torn teddy bears have a place to go for repair. And medical students have a chance to hone their skills dealing with young patients. Doctors hold the annual Teddy Bear Hospital to offer positive interaction with kids in their community and fix a few broken beloved toys while they're at it. Kids get to bring in their toys with various elements, presenting symptoms and stories of toy trauma to the student doctors. The exercise is also designed to ease children's fears about talking to doctors in order to help with future medical visits. Then, for the students in exchange, they get to practice talking to children about their aches and pains and how to make boo-boos all better. Pretty cute. Well, that's all for us here on 17 News at Noon. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back tonight for 17 News at 5 and 6. We have another special edition newscast live from the Kern County Fairgrounds. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.